So, one thing I did learn that you were telling me about is that you knew Big Meech and BMF. How did you meet them? That's kind of crazy.
All right. After I left New Orleans, I was about 14 years old. This was about close to 6 months before I made the band. Mind you, bro, I made making the band at 15. I was 14 at this time. Frank Ski, um, I knew his people. You did. He told me to come to the A and he'll listen to my songs. Say, bro, I was so tweaking to just make it. So I caught the Greyhound from New Orleans to the A. When I got to the A, I got off the Greyhound. As soon as I got off the Greyhound, I looked across the street. It's buku foreigners and Europeans I never seen in my life. I was like, I was like, oh, this is nice. So I walked over there as soon as I got off the Greyhound. When I walked over there, I seen Lambos and Porsches and Bentleys and Mercedes, shit that I couldn't even fathom. Shit that I never seen the Cash Moneys and the No Limits drive around uptown. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, this shit look nice. So I tried to give a person in the Lamborghini my demo. A guy, J-Bo, shout out to J-Bo. He was like, what is you doing? I was like, sir, I'm just trying to give him my CD. And he basically was like, he was like, you gotta ask him. I learned respect from there. I was like, okay. I was like, can you play my CD? He rolled the window down and ended up being Big Meech. And Big Meech rolled the window down, and I had this when CDs was popping and DVDs was popping. So he played it and it kept skipping. He was like, just rap. And I started rapping and he was like, oh, this look cold. You're a country, yeah, but you cold. He was like, what's your name? I'm like, I'm Chopper City. And he was like, Chopper City, I like that. And shit, from there, he was like, look, we finna go into this club. You wanna come with us? And I'm like, all right. So he was like, all right, cool. I'm not going to show I'm giving you money, so I'm going to give you money right now. Because we all one. I learned that too. He said, we all one. We all bosses. He gave me $5,000 in cash. He said, when you go in there, you spend it how you spend it. You keep it, it's on you. That place ended up being Magic City. That was the first time I ever had more than $1,000 in my life at 14 years old. I went in that place. I spent $2,000. I had sex with a beautiful girl, a stripper girl at 14 years old. And I never seen no shit like that in my entire life at 14 years old. And I lived a long life at 14. I was 14 going on 24. But I never seen nothing like that in my life. And then from there, Blue Da Vinci was like, you can come to the house. I came to the house. This is all facts. Blue, Big Meech, they all let it be known. J-Bo, they all let it be known. They had a pool that nobody ever dived in. I was in my plain clothes. Fuck, I ain't had no money. All that. I dived in the pool. And they was just like, this look crazy. I like New Orleans. That was my first encounter with BMF. After that, Big Meech gave me $20,000. So I had five, subtracted by 2,000 from Magic City, which leave me with $3,000. And then when I left, realizing that these moving that when I left, Big Meech gave me $20,000, so I was left with $23,000. That's how I made the band for real, is because Big Meech gave me so much money, I was able to get hotels and all in New York. But the next time I seen them, it was with Diddy, and it was at Club 112, and I guess Wolf and Puff was going at it, because Wolf, you heard me, wanted to show Puff that BMF wasn't shit, you dig, and BMF was the shit, but Wolf tried to show Puff that he was the shit because Wolf has been having Puff back for a long time, and yeah, that's what ended up happening. Big Meech ended up getting Puff a Rolls Royce that night, just letting it be known like he the big chief. He gave Puff a Rolls Royce that night. I'm kicking it with Puff. I made it now. Shit, I'm gonna make it the band. Season 1 now. That's why Puff and them looked at me different, is because, you heard me, BMF was like, I know that that's why Puff really couldn't really deny me. It's because he didn't know why he was with me. It's because of just me thugging so long. And he gave Puff a Rolls Royce, and then shit, man, that's just kind of how it happened. Wolf got killed. during the BMF situation, obviously. You know, rest in peace to Wolf and shout out to BMF. But yep, Wolf tried to show them that he was a real nigga and lost his life. Yeah.
So you knew Puff before making of the. So this was before making of the band.
Nah, this was during making the. This was the off season of making the band. When I was kicking it with Puff at 112. I knew BMF before I knew Puff.
Okay, got it. Okay, and then you said Meech gave Diddy a Rolls Royce
because it was Puff's birthday. So
That's
when Puff came outside, he had a Rolls Royce with a ribbon on it. Yep.
Damn.
Yep. Facts. And at this time, I'm around Puff, and Wolf kept bickering and telling Puff that these niggas wasn't shit. And Wolf is so used to telling Puff something that Puff roll with it, but at this time, for some reason, Puff was just rolling with BMF. And
Wolf was jealous of Diddy and Meech's relationship.
Yes.
Damn.
And
okay,
within 6 to 8 months, Wolf got killed by that situation. Over a female, but really it was jealousy. It was animosity.
It had already started way before that.
Correct. And that's how it started, from that day when Meech, I'm happy Meech home because I know him personally. It started when Meech was just like, you know, it was talk over action. Wolf was like, man, that ain't shit. And then next thing you know, Puff go outside and got a Rolls Royce. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they ain't shit, why you got a Rolls Royce out there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's kind of hard. You kind of got to feel like you might have said some shit you probably shouldn't have said at that point.
Now you get what I'm saying. I just felt like Wolf just, you know, Wolf so used to telling Puff something and Puff roll with it. For some reason, Puff just stopped. He wasn't rolling with it. Puff was rocking with BMF.
What do you think was like the wildest thing you seen while hanging out with BMF?
Man, one time I got a phone call from Blue Da Vinci and Meech and all these people, and they was just like, what's down with you? Where you at? And I'm like, I'm in New Orleans. And they was like, we finna go to, I don't know if it was the Bahamas or Puerto Rico. They was like, we finna book a jet. They had Juvenile, Jeezy, all of us. They flew all the rappers on one jet with all the Magic City girls on a jet, and we all flew to either the Bahamas or Puerto Rico. We flew out there for like a couple weeks and just balled every day on Meech's expense. We went out there and just partying and having fun. That was the wildest shit I've ever seen in my life. I never encountered that in my entire life. I was on a fucking jet at 17 years old. I had to pay for $1, and he gave me $15,000 just to be okay out there. And he called it per diem. BMF did it big. BMF did it big. It'll never be a crew like them again. Facts. And guess what? I was a part of that shit. Facts. I was a part of that shit. From a 14-year-old kid to a 17-year-old young man. You know, courtesy of me just going to the Greyhound station and going to Magic City, giving somebody my demo. It's crazy how the relationship happens when you just try. Funny.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts, man. I've heard about that party before, man. Pretty wild. That was the party to celebrate Meech beating the case, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Wolf case. Ironically. You get it yet?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
At what point did you actually like learn what Meech was doing?
When I went to the house that night at 14 years old, when I got around them, I was like, how is these getting all this money? And then I heard talking, and I was like, oh, okay. Got it, you dig? And I was like, oh, these on a different level. When they was talking about limousines, and I was like, okay. I said, okay. I got to get the, you hear me? Because that wasn't my goal. My goal was just trying to make it in rap. I was never a dope boy, D-boy, hustler, trap type dude. I was always good with women, and I was always good with hustling. So once I heard how they was wiggling, I was just like, yeah, I gotta get away. And when I got away, he gave me like $20,000. I was like, I said, bro, I gotta continue to do what I do. And he gave me $20,000. It was like, just make sure you're doing it in style. That's what Meech told me, and I left. Facts.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.